Welcome back. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. and I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I'm talking about some dogs in a way that I want to ask some questions to get us to think some more. The main thing about what it is that I want to continue to keep on doing in all of my life is to get people to think instead of just go along with what it is that you're being told. Because in reality, as much as it's good for us to follow the leader and listen to what everyone has to say, I've just realized that it's not really the best thing to do in anymore in life in reality. And in reality, the more that I just really understand history and pay attention to it, the more I realize the more that we just follow the leader, the more that we just keep struggling. And the big problem is that we don't pay attention to history. So then that kind of puts us back into wanting to do the same stuff that we used to do in history. And more likely, that's just what's about to happen to us in this world again right now because they're not paying attention to what has already happened. So I want to get people thinking. And today, what I want to talk about when it comes down to these dogs is the concept of, are they inherently selfish? Are they inherently evil? Are they just psychotic and nasty and just evil is a good word to use, but almost like even worse than evil. Are dogs that way? Or are dogs just pure happiness and pure joy? Are they just super, just all about wanting to please, wanting to help out, wanting to be there just to, Shadow, you're such a good boy, man. Wanting to be there just to see the better in you, to see you shine, to see you get more stuff done and be able to be a better person. There's some things that I think that a lot of us should just think about when we're looking at these animals, especially these dogs in our face. Because anyone that's been a parent, everyone has been a parent. I don't think there's a single parent out there that's had a baby child that's going to say to themselves, you see stuff of you in them. But you don't know what's crazy is? Most of the stuff that you see in your child is like the negative quality, the negative qualities of yourself. The things that somebody would say about you, and you would always say, I'm not like that. But then you would see that in your child giving that back to you, and you're like, well, clearly I must be like that because where did that child pick that up from? That may not even be a question that some people are asking, but it's questions that I for sure would ask when I see something that looks like a negative quality being pushed in my face and me trying to say that that's not who I am, that's not what I'm about. That's something that I want a lot of people to really think about when it comes down to these simple dogs. Because in just my opinion, I don't know it all. I'm not the master, the genius. I'm not the god of this planet that's created it. I'm just sitting in this world trying to figure it out. And the more I just literally just sit in silence and just wonder and ponder, the more I start to figure things out. Because more likely, what's going on with these dogs is the same concept as what goes on with these children that are just reflecting to us who we are, not who we say we are. They're doing the things that we say we don't do, and we actually get mad at when other people do. Such as, oh, there's one thing that really drives people crazy. I don't know what it is about me, but I'm just always on time. People can't stand when people aren't on time. But then when you do a self-reflection to look at your own self, you're always late. You're always behind. So of course you're going to be upset if someone else is not on time because you're in this fake persona that you're on time, but you're not actually on time. And you're wanting everyone else to be and to do what it is that you want, but you're not doing that. So of course others aren't going to be on time for you. That might sound complicated right there for half a second, but I just want us to really think about things like that. You get upset when someone else is selfish. They're needy. They're pushy. They're demanding. They're just like, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. You get so upset when you see something else doing that to you. Not realizing, more than likely, you are the one that is doing that. So you're actually being able to see in real time, real life, what's going on and just have to deal with it as opposed to thinking and perceiving what you might think is going on. Because that's a cool thing. That's probably one of the neatest things about children. Because they can help you grow or they can destroy your growth. It depends on the way you want to look at it. And that's how I see these dogs. They can help you grow or they can destroy your growth. They're going to show you who you are, what you're lacking in, what you're good at. They're going to show you all of that. And they're going to show it all to you in a way that you can't just run away from it. You can't just yell it away, beat it away, force it away. It's there. And it's going to keep coming back stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. It's going to come back to the point that even if you get rid of said the dog and or the kid, It's something else is still going to come around to just really just slap you in the face and say, this is what's wrong. This is what we need to work on. We need to get through this. We need to get past this. And that's just what I just really question when I'm looking at a dog. When someone says to me, like, the dog is evil, the dog is angry, the dog is mad, the dog is pushy, the dog is all these things. And then I'm just looking at the human and I start asking you some questions. And you're like, well, I kind of do like getting my way. I kind of am a person that's just all about, you better do what I say or else type situation. And then we're wondering why there's things in our lives that are doing that to us. It's because we are teaching, training, coaching everything around us to basically be like us. And when we're doing that, we're not only just putting out the good stuff, we're also putting out the said negative, bad qualities that we don't want and don't like. We're putting it all out there. And depending on the individual, this is where it gets complicated, because children are much more fascinating than dogs, because they're able to like think for themselves to, I don't want to do what I saw them do. I want to do something different. Whereas a dog doesn't get that luxury. It's going to do what it is that we're putting out to it. So if your dog is pushing, demanding, I'm almost going to slap a guarantee that you are. And it's something that you need to self-reflect and look on and say, what's going on here? If your dog is super loving and super caring and just wanting to be the best for you, like that's the person I want to talk to. You're a person I want to communicate with. Like, that's absolutely an amazing person on this planet. But it's like, you want to try to help someone else. Like for me, I can say, I want to try to help someone else with their animal, with anything else in their life that you're struggling with, but it's almost impossible, because I can't just flip a switch and just turn a person that is pushy, demanding, that's forceful, that's a dictator, that's ruthless, that's just all that, to turn them to be into a more just said, like, more compassionate way to be able to like get your message across. I can't switch a human to do that. I could do that to a dog though. That's what's neat about dogs. Something that I'm just super fascinated about with working with these animals. And I could change a pushy, just because that's how this, unfortunate. I just know too much about these animals today that it's hard for me to communicate to a lot of people nowadays. But I could take a dog that is just pushy, that is just, I don't want to listen to nothing you got to say. Like, that's how this Dalmatian was when I first got her. She didn't want to listen to nothing I had to say. Not even just the sense of where she came from and all that, but just the fact of just how she was, what the information she learned. That I don't need to listen to nothing. I don't care about you. I don't care about them. I don't care about the other dogs. I don't care about nothing. I can do whatever the heck I want to do. And then I can spend some time with her to like get her to like shift into, no, let's care about each other. Let's work with each other. Let's do stuff together. We're not just out here on our own. And it's fascinating to be able to see, but it's not easy to do, because that means that I have to change my own self, not only just change the dog. I have to change my habits. I have to realize that when things are going down, that I gotta just let it go. That's one thing of how I've been able to get this dog to come to me, like almost 100% today. I'm still questioning if she can hear me from a far distance, but right here, I know she can hear me. And I can get her to come to me because I realized what my dilemma was. My dilemma with my border collie, with all my dogs actually at this moment now, even my Pyrenees comes to me if I call him. And I've realized what my problem was with my dogs not wanting to come to me right away. This is where there's interesting universal things that you can apply a extreme amount of pressure to force the dog back to you. But I wanted to get completely away from that and to get the dog to come to me. And I figured out my problem by asking questions and wondering out what's going on here. My problem was I would get frustrated, irritated because they didn't come fast enough. So when the dog didn't come instantly to me, I would start to get this buildup in me. And of course, the dog is going to look and see that and say, whoa, I don't want to be anywhere near that. I don't want to get close to that. Where this guy, he don't get, I don't know what it is. He's a freak of nature, I'm going to say, my border collie. And that's why some stuff with these border collies is just fat. I'm excited to get more and more of them, because he's just like a strange dog over everything on the property. Like, strange animal over everything. He's very, very interesting animal. But I'd wonder if I'd work one differently as birth than I did with him to see if it would be different. But I'm almost going to guarantee that I'm going to get the same results. That he wants to work for me, that he don't care. He don't care if I'm mad, angry, sad, happy. He's like, I'll be there for you, buddy. He's just a weird animal. But the others would get suspicious. Like, I'm not going to be around that. What I'm going to say is negative energy. I'm not going to be anywhere around that. And then I was wondering, like, what's going on here? Then it would force me to get more like in this, like, what's wrong? Why aren't you coming to me? And then I have to go and try to get the dog to bring the dog to me. And then we're just going through this fight. And then I'm wondering, why the heck doesn't the dog want to be around me? And I had to realize, I don't care what you're doing and what's going on, but if I call you and you come to me, everything is good. It's safe, because all I want to do is have you to be next to me. So there's nothing that there possibly. This is something that I think that's changed in my brain to just really get me in a better place with working with these dogs. Is realizing it's straight up, people. This is hard. This is hard. But the dog is not doing anything wrong. The dog is doing what the dog is doing. The dog is not evil. The dog is not good. The dog is not bad. The dog is not nothing. The dog is a neutral stance of a reflection of what it is that it is going on in its environment and who's taking care of it. It's a reflection of what's going on. So if I'm hostile and angry, my dog is going to be hostile and angry. And this is the part where it can also be flip-flopped. That I could be hostile and angry, my dog could be super excitable. It could be the opposite of us, but it's not all around. Each little thing could be just the opposite, or it's going to be the same. But most cases, the dog is going to start to become who we are, like deep in our core, just who we are, what we represent. And the more that I realize that the dog is not doing anything wrong, the more that just let a lot of just my excitabilityness, my anger, my whatever about them just disappear. The dog goes and kills a chicken. The dog's doing what the dog's supposed to do. This is where it gets complicated, because the scariest thing for me is the dog getting hit by a car. But if the dog runs in the street, the dog is doing what the dog is doing. It doesn't know, like, I'm going to run the street, I want to kill myself. No, the dog is just being a dog. It's not doing anything wrong. The dog is fighting other dogs. The dog is being a dog, is doing what dogs are doing. But if we get hostile in that stance, that's what I believe is creating the dog to keep doing that. It's not getting the dog to stop doing that. When I come in, I'm just smooth, calm. I see the dog doing something crazy, what I would perceive as crazy as a human. But to a dog, it's just a dog doing what dogs do. So something that, oh man, this is a classic example right here that I can give. This border collie, I don't know. Every time I say stuff, usually they do it. But I think yesterday I said that Johnny was going, he don't chew through the trash no more. And he seriously don't chew through the trash no more. And he didn't today. And I even cracked the door open a little bit to see if he would like dip in. And I even threw something extra in there. But when I realized the dog is just doing what the dog is doing, I can't be mad at him for doing what a dog does. They stopped doing it. And something that this border collie would always do is he would do what dogs do, is roll and poop, especially the cow poop, especially when it's like loose. When the cows just they eating good grass and it's not this hard patty. He'll roll in it, man. I'm not even talking about just the neck. They love doing the neck, but they do the whole body. And I would just get like seriously disgusted. Like, ew, that's nasty, man. And he knew it. It's bath time every time. And I try to convince him not to do it by me supposedly not reacting, not responding, and let's go give him a bath. But it wasn't working. It wasn't working. But the day that I decided to look at him rolling the poop and just look at him and just say, he's doing that for a reason. And if I just could understand that reason on why the dog is doing the dog stuff, it would allow me to be able to just let it go. But I have to understand that there's a reason why he's doing that, not to be disobedient to me. Because once we start looking at things that a dog is doing as being disobedient for a dog, but just being a dog, we start to have to punish that. And when we start to have to punish, that's when we have to start, they're going to punish us. Whatever you punish, you're going to get punished back. This is the part where, for me, there's someone that uses the child's way of trying to look at these dogs of a spoiled brat. This is where I'm going to say that stuff is complicated. Because a spoiled child, a spoiled dog, a whatever disobedient dog is being that because we are not giving that dog, that child, that whatever, what it needs. If we're not giving it what it needs, it's going to have to do something to get its needs met. And most cases, if we're coming in with punishment to try to get it to stop doing something, it's going to come back and punish us to try to get what it needs. So that's where we see the dogs just keep ramping up more and more and more. That's why I just no longer look at a dog as if it's a bad dog, or even if it's a good dog. I'm just looking at it if I'm being a good or a bad person towards that dog. That's what I'm going to start to be able to see. That's what I'm going to start to be able to get out of the dog. And the more that I become and say that, I don't even want to say that. You can't just fake this. You got to be it. Because I tried the faking method and just nothing worked with it. But the more that you start to be kind and compassionate and understanding, man, just words that we just don't use anymore nowadays, that We got to bring these words back. This is how we build families. This is how we live in life. But especially understanding. We bring understanding, then everything is going to start to be able to calm down and relax. Everything is going to be able to be in harmony because I'm no longer going to have to punish something for doing something that's just what it is inherently supposed to do. And of course, we're going to get all the critics that are going to, well, my dog likes to bite dogs, so we just let him kill dogs and that's fine. No, your dog is doing that because of something that is going on that the dog is not getting. The dog is lashing out because of something that dog is it needs something. And if you give that dog its needs, it's going to stop doing that. If you give the dog its needs, it's going to stop wanting to bark at every dog on the planet. If you give the dog its needs, it's going to let all of that go and listen to what it is that you want. Because this is the thing. Dogs, we created a lot of them to bark and guard. A lot of dogs have that in them. A lot of dogs have the hunting gene drive in them to go and get vermin, to go and get small game, to go and hunt and kill and do what they do. A lot of dogs have that in them. But we don't need that as people anymore today. But we can convince the dogs to let a lot of that go and listen to us when we give them what it is that they need to get that out of their system. We can't just suppress it and shut it down and say, oh, you're my dog now. And even though you're a hunting dog, I don't want you to do, you can never do that. You're not giving the dog its needs, so it's going to do something to punish you. And you're going to be the one that's going to be feel like you're getting punished all day long. Because the dog is just reflecting back to you what you're doing to it. You're punishing the dog for not allowing it to be and do what it needs to do. It's like this dog was punishing me for a long time, a long while, because I got picky with you can only bark at this and this and this. And I started to like give him too much that he couldn't handle. He got a big head here. He got a lot that he can handle, but he can't handle what I was putting on him. I'm always getting on him about barking too much. But that's what he's supposed to do. And then once I started to understand, okay, the dog's got to bark because that's what the dog needs to do. The dog does it and he lets it go now. He's no longer, straight up, man. This dog used to sit at my window and just like bark at it. Almost in a way of like, dude, you're not being nice to me, so watch what I do to you. You're not sleeping tonight. Because there would be nights that I'm telling you, I didn't sleep because all I could hear is him barking, 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 growling, barking, savage, ruthless, crazy, massive barking. But he's gotten away from that today because I stopped, what I'm going to say is punishing him for doing what he needs to do. Is him barking going to destroy me? No, this is the part where it gets unfortunate. You have to understand the dog that you have. You have to give that dog what it needs. And if you have the wrong dog right now, not saying that you can't give it what it needs, but you may be just in a slight bit of a jam of having to do a little extra behind you. But that's the whole concept and the part of like what I want to, man, another word that we just don't use anymore is being responsible. Understanding that you may not have wanted to have to deal with what it is that you have, but you have it now. So now you just have to be responsible, stand up and just take care of it. It is what it is. You can't just pass up and give up on it because it's almost like, to me, the way that I can really look at it is the challenge of life that we have certain things that we have to get past. And that challenge isn't, you didn't basically like say complete that challenge. So it's going to come back to you tenfold next time. And it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. And that's what I hear from a lot of people, especially with these dogs. You know, I've had dogs my whole life, but this dog, and I'm like, yeah, I know. We got things that we need to work on as a people. We need to be more understanding. We need to be more compassionate. We need to be more responsible. We need to be more just understanding to the simple fact that nothing on this planet is perfect. That's what's so cool about this. I just had to change. I got to keep changing my setup look every day. But all these trees behind me, they're all trees, right? And they're all, I believe these are called live oak trees. But does a single one look the same? They're all unique. They're all different. Everything on this land is that way. And that's what, to me, is incredible. But to, like I said, dog training and certain things, it's not incredible. Because that means that your one size fits all doesn't actually fit all. Your one size fits one size. And that's what a lot of people want to push, is that one size fits, and then that's why we're struggling. Because we're not seeing the uniqueness. But that's part of being responsible, and unfortunate words that I got to use there is growing up. And understanding that everything is different and everything needs a different approach. And having a good understanding that just relax, knowing that whatever you're putting out, you are not. And that's where we're having the biggest dilemma right now of all, is you want something to put, you want your dog to be perfect. You want let's see, Ophi. You want every time you say a dog's name that it just shoots and it runs to you and it sprints to you. Where for me, I guess I don't care. I'm going to say it twice here because I can hear baby chick crying. Come here. You want that perfection like that. But the thing is about having that level of perfection, you are not that with what it is that you do as a person. So for me, right there, when she was there, she was, I don't know, say 50 feet from me. She came halfway, 25 feet, and she stopped me. She was like, I needed to give her a second reminder. And then I look at my own life. Straight up. I'm going to give you a perfect example right here, right now, of just something to just think about. You set your alarm for 6 o'clock in the morning to wake up, right? Did you wake up at 6 o'clock or did you wake up at 6:05, 6:10, 6:15, 6:20, 6:30? If you didn't wake up at 6 o'clock, why are you putting the expectations that you speak and think should move for you when you're not perfect yourself? Did you say you were going to do something today, such as like, oh, I'm going to work out, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to forget the gym, I'm just going to walk up the stairs a little more today? Did you do it or did you slack on it? If you slacked on it, why would you expect that every time you said sit to the dog, that the dog is going to sit? If you put yourself and you live your life to a level of perfection, then yes, I'm almost going to want to expect that I'm going to see perfection. But we're not getting perfection because we are not perfection. And in reality, that's a beautiful thing for us to be able to live in, to be able to realize that there's just stuff to constantly keep working on. Because if we were already perfect in reality, like that would be a life just, I don't want to use that word, but it's the best word to use. It'd be a worthless life. You wouldn't want to live to 120, 130, 100,000 years. You would be like, I'm good to go. I'm done. I'm ready to get the heck out of here. I've already mastered it. I've already figured it out. Let's just get it on. And some people might, you're going to think a little opposite towards that because you're hurting right now. But there's always seasons for things that are going on. It's not like my life is just, perfect all the time. Heck no, I'm struggling every day. I'm worried every day with certain little things that are going on. I'm always working on little things and a whole bunch of other stuff to make sure that everything's going to be okay. I'm trying to do as much as I can to keep going more food and figuring out how to do it because things are challenging. It's not like I'm just living this perfect life. No. If it was perfect, I'd be done. Let's go. Let's get out of here. But it's not. And that's what is cool for us to keep working on and working on and working on. That we get to the point of realizing what it is that we need to work on. And a lot of this we can see easily through your children. How your children act towards you. How are they? What do they do? And then the other part is, since not, unfortunately, young people aren't having children anymore, it's these dogs that are just like replacing that in reality. And a dog will never, ever, ever be a child. But a dog is going to also be able to let you know that you are not perfect and there's stuff that you need to work on. And the number one thing that we really need to work on is having the understanding that stuff happens and we're not in control of it all. And the more that you try to control it all, the more that stuff is going to continue to keep on happening. That it's just going to keep on getting more and more challenging for you. But the more that you just have good understanding of realizing that dogs are doing what dogs are doing. And dogs are how dogs are. If the dog is chewing up something right now in your house, you can't get mad at that dog for chewing something because the dog is just doing what the dog is supposed to do. If the dog is going potty in your house right now, you can't get mad at the dog for going potty in the house because the dog is just simply doing what the dog is supposed to be doing. And basically, in reality, it is doing what it is learned and taught and thought is acceptable to be able to do. But the second that we come in with trying to punish the dog for doing what the dog is, that's when we're going to expect that dog is going to want to punish us. That's what I personally see with still. Dogs that I work with that are biting people, they are heavy on treat work and use. Heavy on getting the dog to sit for treats. Heavy on just getting the dog to stop chewing on stuff and give them treats. Heavy on getting the dog to stop jumping and give them treats. Stop lunging, give them treats. Stop barking, give them treats. Stop all this and give them treats. They're heavy on that. Very, very, very heavy. Extremely heavy. And these dogs, it's in a way that the dog is like, I got to do what I got to do, and you're just coming in and punishing me for doing what I'm doing, as opposed to guiding me and showing me what to do in a nice, kind, calm, relaxed, compassionate way. You're just like, oh, look over here, and trying to convince that out of the dog, as opposed to saying, hey, I know you got to chew. Let me give you this to chew. And this is where I'm going to say test of life really happens. That the dog's not going to just stop like that. It was a one method that a lot of us like to use is the dog is this works. It does. But it only works when You can stay calm and relaxed when you do it. Is the dog is chewing on something and you give the dog a new thing to chew on. Because one thing that I don't let my dogs chew on is plastic. Because I don't know what it is. The wood, I've never had issues with the dogs and chewing bark and chewing wood and chewing sticks. I just haven't had issues with that. To me, that's like almost like a natural thing that dogs do. But plastic, that's not natural. Plastic is strange, it's foreign, it's a weird substance. And for whatever reason, it must not break down in their stomach or something about it. They got a flavor on it that they eat it. And I've seen, the border collie, he pooped out some plastic ones. So I do not let them chew plastic. But when I see them chew plastic, because even just yesterday, Johnny was chewing on a plastic, a little rod that I use to build fences with. I replace it with something else that I say you could chew on. And then when he goes back to it, I replace it. He goes back to it, I replace it. I don't make the plastic disappear. I just put it right there and I say, this is what we're chewing on. It does work doing that. But the problem starts to happen is if you start to get frustrated, because the dog's you're gonna cycle back and forth. I mean, it could be 100 times, people. 100 times that you could be cycling back and forth with this. But on the 101st time, that dog decides, oh, okay, I'll just chew on this. This is cool. When you stay calm, when you stay in the understanding of a dog is doing what the dog is doing. He's not doing anything wrong. We just want to guide the dog to show them what we are looking for now. That may be right to you, but we want to guide the dog as a quality leader to say, now this is what I want. Not in a way that I'm going to punish you to say, this is what you have to do, but in a way of saying, I know you like that, but let's do this instead. And that gets the dog to just look at you as a quality leader, solid leader that says, oh, okay, we're not getting hostile with this. You're not going to hurt me for this. You're not going to try to trick me into this. You're just going to let me do this. And then the toxicity goes away. But most cases, what we're doing is just straight up punishing the dog. And as soon as we start punishing, the dog has to do that back to us. It's something that I want a lot of people to think about. Are these dogs evil, or is it that we're doing evil stuff to them? Are these dogs good, or is it because we're doing good stuff to them? And in reality, a lot of times we think and assume and want to believe that we're doing good stuff to the dogs. But most cases, unfortunately, with a lot of this new stuff that we're doing today, we're actually doing pretty evil things to them. That's why we're seeing dogs that are really, really pushy, really just selfish looking, evil looking, mean looking, just entitlement, just all these words that we don't like to use. But then I just have to really think about, well, look at your own self before you look at that dog and try to say that the dog is something wrong with the dog. Look at yourself first. Thank you. Johnny, let's see if she'll come. See, she'll come instantly if I call a different dog's name from a far distance. Oreo. What's up, girl? She even came before Johnny. I think that my sweet Dalmatian definitely has a slight hearing problem. She can hear real good from about 50. That's pretty far she can hear. I'd say maybe about, I'll use the yards there because it is about 150 feet. About 50 yards, she can hear like really good. But past that, I either have to get louder. Yeah, I just have to get louder. And that's the part where, for me, just personally, I don't want them to think that I'm yelling at them, So that's why I don't want to get louder with saying their names so that they're not like, all right, is something wrong? Like, is anything okay? But if there's another dog with her and I can call that other dog's name, Johnny, you good? I'm sorry, you can come here. When I call the other dog's name, she'll instantly follow that dog to come back to me because that dog knows and got triggered. Johnny got triggered of come to me, come back to me. So she follows along instantly. So I either have to have a dog with her at all times when she's real far away, or I got to come up with a method. That might be something that I might have to. I keep on trying to figure out how to create new stuff for these dogs to make our lives easier. But I might have to figure out something to be able to do because I've been hearing a lot about seeing. I don't know why, but I think this past year I worked with 2 or 3, 4 deaf dogs, and a trainer I know's got a deaf dog. It's starting to become almost like a normal thing. So we got to be able to have a way to. My best case scenario to fix it or to make my life easy is I never go out of a 50-yard range. She always has to stay pretty close, and that's more than likely going to be the standard that I use if I'm definitely not on the property where I know I'm somewhere. But when I'm out in public, I don't ever let her more than, I don't know, like 20, 30 feet from me anyway. So she always stays pretty close. It's just out here that she's got to be with something. And in reality, not many people really live where I live like this, where the dogs are way far out. So it's not too much of a hassle, even if she is deaf. But she definitely isn't like the best of the best of hearing. And it's something that's pretty interesting, I guess, to work with. And it's man, I was working with my shepherd. He was almost blind. You're almost there, Oreo. I see you. You still too much for me right now. My shepherd was almost blind, and I had to give him some medication. And now he can see. Now he's like a whole different dog. But he definitely couldn't see for a long while, and he would only use his nose everywhere, and he was a very interesting dog. But now that he can see better, he definitely acts much differently, which is cool. He's not as suspicious anymore. So I'm not sure which one's more challenging, a deaf dog or a blind dog, or a blind and deaf dog. Man, that's got to be challenging. That's got to be a struggle. I don't even know what to start that with. Oh, I guess I would have to use an e-collar on that dog to get it to understand anything in life that's going on. But it's just the struggles of everyday life, something like that. That you know, I could say, oh, my dog is deaf or my dog is blind, and I just got to give up on it. But in reality, that's not the way to go. It's still working with that animal to figure out something, the challenge of my life that I need to work through. And for me, in reality, I used to be very hostile in how I called my dogs. And that's probably why a lot of them didn't really want to come to me when I called them, because I just sound like I'm about to like do something savage if you came to me. But also me, it was being picky. You better do it because I said so. I said here, you better be here. And it's crazy that the more I let that go, the more they come to me. It's wild on the things that I just relax and they do less of, as opposed to just trying to get in it so perfect, and they would always want to do more. It's just things that I want a lot of people to think about. You want things around you so perfect, but you're not perfect. When you make yourself perfect, things around you will be perfect. That's just something that I think is facts.